Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty Roundtable Radio Talk Show.
The Strait of Hormuz. Oh my gosh, socialists are winning Michigan. Yeah, anti-fraud measures into law. Trump promotes tax cuts in Las Vegas. The CDC talking about Salmonella outbreaks. The FDA approving the first, what do you want to call it? Clot shot, flu shot, whatever. Wow, it's all happening, and it starts now on Liberty Roundtable Live. The Honeyman with me, Curt Crosby, localhoneyman.com. Welcome back, sir.
Buenos dias. Greetings and salutations. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Thank you, Sam.
All right, Iran and Oman. I'm just kidding. Oman, however you say that. And Iran, they're working on a shipping framework for the Strait of Hormuz. And they say fully open, not guaranteed, but we'll see. But they're working on it. Iran's deputy foreign minister said on Thursday the two sides are close to finalizing what they call a proposed framework. So when you're close to finding a proposed framework, I don't know how close that is, right? But they say it's for commercial shipping. And while warning that the agreement does not automatically reopen the waterway. And Iran denies holding any talks with the United States. Trump said progress had been made, and he suggested that an announcement could come soon. Now, there's two ideas on this, Curt, and I want to get your take because we don't really know where it is. We don't have enough information. On one hand, you could say, man, Trump's been snubbed big time, and he's not in the talks, and he's having to sit and wait on Oman and Iran to work this out, and he's just kind of been sidelined. That's a huge coup and a real benefit to Iran saying, hey, you're not important, United States. We dismiss you. We've got more clout than you thought we did. And it looks really bad for Trump on that surface. On the other hand, and here's the way I look at it. I know a lot of people are claiming the first scenario, but I submit the second scenario has merit. Listen and see what you think. I believe that Trump has said for a long time, we don't want to be involved in every region everywhere in the world. And so we want to back out of this region. And we want players more in the area, or whatever you want to call it, the region, to start to take action and speak up for themselves and to get the support regionally there. And we don't have to do everything for everybody. It's time that you guys come and take care of your own problems. And so Trump could be intentionally staying out of the talks. He negotiated enough in the beginning. He's bombed enough to soften them up and say, but now he's letting them kind of take the lead. And if they come back with a deal, see, Trump can say two things. One, I helped get it started. And two, now I'm letting them regionally take care of their own business here, folks. We're not trying to control anybody. We're not the bully you think we are. We support this effort and this move. And it could be a very, very valuable strategic move on Trump's part, that he's intentionally saying, look, I don't control the world. Yes, I have to provide leadership, but I'm backing off and letting these guys take care of this. And if they can get it done, you know what? More power to them. Good on them. And so this could be a brilliant strategy by Trump, Curt.
Well, I couldn't agree more, Sam. And, you see how he's basically done that with the UN. He created, I can't remember what it's called, but he invited all these different...
It's like the peace, what is it? The peace something.
Like that. And he's basically, kind of just gone around the UN and taken us out of there. And we've been promoting the idea to get us out of the UN forever. And, that's one perfect example. You just get it out and say, hey, this thing's not working. All it is a big money trap and a bunch of socialists and communists that run it, and you got to do the same thing with this other thing. Here, we got plenty to deal with in our hemispheres, and then let the people in those areas take care of their stuff. We're certainly available. It's kind of like with the Ukraine thing, as far as I understand, there's plenty of weapons and things going to those people, but we're not just handing them over and dumping big bucks there anymore because the Europeans are actually paying for it. that's the way it ought to be. It's kind of like with the whole NATO thing, instead of us just footing the bill for everything, you share it. I mean, imagine people paying for what they get, right?
It's a good start. We need more of it, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm just telling you, it could be a very brilliant move on Trump's part where he's basically intentionally letting this happen. And you can say I've been dismissed if you want to, but the reality is I intentionally did this because they need to learn to take care of their own neighborhood. They need to learn to take some responsibility for their own situations. They can't just run to America and have us do everything for them all the time. And so that goes along with President Trump's indication that what he wants to do is just work on taking care of our hemisphere and let them take care of their own business over there. And we got to really kind of help them do that and then get out of the way. And I think Trump, is planning that. That's my take on it. A lot of people are critical and saying, oh man, he got dismissed and look how bad this looks. And that could be true. But at the same time, it sends a clear message to the communists in China and Russia and North Korea and those kind of people. Hey, we're not trying to bully the world. We're not trying to control everybody. We just can't have these people threatening innocents around the world, and you need to help make that occur too. Let's see if you're on board or not for that. And so we're going to see what's going to happen with that. I don't know how to say this guy's name. He's this big socialist in Michigan. Abdul
El-Sayed. They call him El-Sayed.
All right.
Sayed. It's
El-Sayed. Okay.
Yeah, he's just one of the latest.
By the way, in America, you'd call it Sayed because it's S-A-Y, say.
That's right.
E-D, yeah. So it's Sayed, but it's Aid or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, he wins the Mission Democratic primary for the Senate there. Mm-hmm. And that's very concerning. The Associated Press called it, said that he is winning Haley Stevens by 1 point with 99% of the ballots counted. And so they're saying that he wins. Curt, this to me smacks of fraud. You got this guy days later pulls ahead by less than 1%. And now they're like declaring him the winner. It's just weird.
Oh, Sam, you mean you wouldn't bet the house that this was an honest election?
I would bet the house that it wasn't, my friend.
I mean, it's just, I think anybody who says these are honest elections, man, they got to have their head examined, I mean, it's
for sure.
A joke.
Anyway, they say he now faces Republican Mike Rogers in November for the seat being vacated by Senator Gary Peters. So we'll see what kind of happens with that, but I'm already convinced there's fraud going on over there. And I'd like somebody to dig in and tell me more about it because I just think 99% of the ballots are counted. There's 1 point separating them. And I don't know if Stevens is going to challenge this. I'm not saying I'm for Stevens either. I'm just telling you that it seems very weird. And this guy's a flat-out communist. That's my opinion. That's my opinion to which I'm entitled. You can't sue me. I have an opinion, okay? But I'm just telling you, this is a crazy town. These socialists are getting, and now we're going to have AOC in 2028. At least that's what JD Vance says will be his opposition. So we'll see kind of how that unfolds. But, man, it's just crazy how these extreme Democrats are just getting elected, and their views are just off the charts to the point where half the old-style Democrats are going, I can't even go along with that, Curt.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you remember, Sam, back in those days, I mean, it's been 30-some years. We'd get the Colliers about the vote fraud and all that stuff.
That book was called Vote Scam by James Collier, right?
I think so. And it's been going on forever, the whole 51 to 49 kind of thing, and, it's surprising how close those elections are, I mean, they're just, if they just to spend a little bit more money, just a few more posters or a few more ads, and they would have won,
Yeah, it's like, but no cigar, Curt.
Yeah, almost,
Come on back if you ever want to try again there.
If you want to see some real eye-opening stuff on that, you just watch the film Let My People Go by our buddy, I forget him. Anyways,
D'Souza? isn't it?
Well, there's that one, but there's the former professor from New Mexico State University, the big J6 defender guy that did the Let My People Go, and it's just impressive. And there's, like you said, Dinesh D'Souza, there's so much evidence, but if you keep your eyes closed, you don't really see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you just ignore it and aren't willing to, know the truth, then you don't know the truth. I understand.
That's right.
That's how it works. Now, JD Vance is in the news for a good reason, Curt. And I think he's doing it right. He's respecting checks and balances, but he's pushing on the right buttons. Listen up. Vance asks Congress to write federal anti-fraud measures into law. At a White House roundtable on Wednesday, the vice president said the fraud task force has already stopped $56 billion in fraudulent payments and have identified hundreds of billions of dollars more. We'll talk about this in seconds. Sam and Curt, this is Liberty Roundtable Live. Crosby talked about letting my people go. We're talking about the election integrity documentary, Let My People Go. It was made by Professor David Clements, a New Mexico professor. And it's a great movie, and it really breaks it down in a very meaningful way. Curt's right about that. I just couldn't remember the name, and I wanted to come back and make sure everybody knew exactly which film we're talking about, because it's really worth a watch. All right, so Vance is asking Congress to write federal anti-fraud measures into law. And at a White House roundtable event on Wednesday, he said they've already stopped $56 billion in fraudulent payments. They've identified hundreds of billions more. It's like Doge continuing, Curt. And then he basically said, hey, we want you to pass legislation codifying the reforms. That's the right way to do it. Let's get her done, sir.
Oh yeah, you couldn't be more correct on that, Sam. And just a little tidbit on the Professor David Clements. Here's how Wikipedia and all those guys say this about him. They say David Clements is a former American lawyer and a former assistant professor at New Mexico State University. He's known for his advocacy of election conspiracy theories in the United States. It's just, they do it all the time. Their twist. They couldn't just say, look, here's what happened with him. They can't really bring up his movie, Let My People Go, but they're going to do this conspiracy theories,
Yeah, it's the same reason they can't have the 10 Commandments in school. People actually might believe it and live it and stuff. People might actually realize there's vote fraud if you do that, Curt.
Exactly right. And, on this JD Vance thing with the, fraud stuff, I mean, can you think of a more, what would you call it? How they have these big deals that movements in society, like say, the tech advancement, the tech age or whatever. I mean, right now, what would be bigger than figuring out fraud in government? I mean, I can't even think of how many new positions there ought to be in that area, Sam. I mean, all these accountants that could go looking at and trying to track down where all that money goes, out there. And
Well, and Elon Musk highlighted, he's like, hey, there's these computers that just print money.
yeah.
That just commit fraud. That needs to be followed up on. And so I hope JD Vance's plan includes literally drilling into that and saying, what is this an allegation or is this true? And I'm convinced that it's true, and we need to follow up on that and stamp that out yesterday.
Well,
unless they want to give me one of those computers, then it's okay. I'm just joking. I'm just kidding. I'm just making a point how absurd it is, Curt.
I guess the phrase I was looking for was growth industry. I mean,
yeah, that's for sure.
Be a fraud.
Stopping fraud's a growth industry, buddy. Everybody can get hired stopping the fraud for sure.
I mean, it's if you basically said to him, look, any good government employee that can basically, save money for the government and, stop fraud, and you'd pay them, say, 10% of whatever it was that they stopped. I mean, it would just be amazing. I mean,
people would get rich too, Curt.
Well, yeah, there'd be millionaires all over the place. But what would happen is at least
it'd be worth it.
You'd identify all that waste and fraud, and you'd pay them basically a commission,
Amen. So while the VP is stopping fraud, and I commend him for it, and I pray that Mike Johnson and company over in Congress really takes the vice president at the White House Roundtable that took place yesterday. I really hope that Congress and Mike Johnson takes him seriously and starts to really codify this stuff. That's what we need happening, and that's where I really believe, Trump's done a lot better job than people give him credit for. But the problem is it's Congress that has really been a thorn in his side. Congress hasn't picked up anything that he wants to work on. And if they had, just for example, the tariffs, if Congress would codify the tariffs Trump has, there wouldn't be all this legal wrangling and all this money sent and then got back and this and that and that and the other. We'd have the tariffs. And then we could move on to Trump's next initiative after we got the tariffs rolling. Trump promotes tax cuts in Las Vegas 3 months before the midterm. Now, just imagine if Congress doubled down on his plan there. Speaking at Red Rock Casino yesterday, he credited this idea that no tax proposal and all that. And he said, we've already worked on tax breaks for overtime and Social Security. And now he wants to do more. He appeared with Joe Lombardo, that's the sheriff that then turned governor, and he backed him for re-election. And so all I'm saying is that Trump's now pushing to lower taxes. What we need is Mike Johnson to double down and start talking to the American people daily and saying, look, we're working on tax breaks and Congress needs to get aboard, and we the people need to then call our congressmen and senators and say we back Donald Trump and the tax break plan, and we just got to push. Now, I wish that abolished the IRS entirely, Curt, but hey, we're going to take what we can get, and at least it's trending in the right direction. We, the people, need to get behind it, though, and demand Congress deliver, Curt.
Well, you couldn't be more correct, Sam, and Congress. I always think
these guys are on vacation, man, for a whole month right now.
That's right. When you hear the phrase Congress, you remember the old quote about what's the opposite of progress? Congress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the pro and the con, right?
Yeah, that's right. Good point.
Anyway,
they could much more.
I just commend Trump, and I pray that we can get tax cuts happening. We need to do that. And if you say, well, we can't afford it, Sam, my response is, if you get that fraud thing combined with the tax cuts, you sure can. Give the people that find the fraud 10% and give the American people a 10, 15% tax cut. Let's go. And then just decrease all the unconstitutional government, agencies and whatever, and you'll be making progress quite rapidly. Now, the FDA approved the first RMNA or what is it called?
mRNA.
mRNA, yeah, mRNA seasonal flu vaccine, Curt. I'm telling you right now, I told you not to take the COVID jab, and I'm going to tell you right now, do not take this jab. Okay? Yeah. First off, what you got to understand is this. This is important. When they say this is a vaccine, it's not true, Curt. Yeah. It's not a vaccine at all. Okay? And it is a experiment, and it's dangerous. And I'm sad that it happened on Bobby Kennedy's watch.
You got so many of those government employees that, need to be cleaned out.
Oh, yeah, you just get overwhelmed. It's like if you're in a big old mob at a concert or something and you trip and then you just get trampled. It's like that, Curt.
Yeah, that's right. Have you heard of this thing they call the freedom haulers, Sam?
No, but I'm one of them. I
Well,
holler
they're-
for freedom every day on your radio and TV, sir.
well, in this case, it's hauler like truck.
Yeah, like
H-
truckers. Yeah.
A-U-
And I support the freedom haulers, by the way.
Well, okay. In this case, what they apparently, we've got all these states where they've given out these.
Illegal trucking licenses, yes.
That's right. To these.
And this is Trump's plan to stop it, right? And have the veterans do the trucking.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's
I
such
support
a
it.
great
100%.
idea, and so it's just a piece of good news.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of the things you have to do is be able to speak English and stuff. That kind of deal.
I mean, imagine so you can read the words that says "Don't drive here" or "Stop," something like that. I mean, and we can have good American guys, veterans driving those trucks instead of people that don't even belong here.
Amen to that. So let's get this right then. Yes to the Freedom Hall truckers. No to the illegal truckers. No to the flu jab. No, sir, on that. Yes to the tax cuts. Yes to the stopping fraud. Yes to the release of the 9/11 abused prisoners. And hey, yes to open the Strait of the Hormuz. And there's just a lot of yeses in this show, Curt.
Yeah, amen to that.
Even Dr. No would vote yes for a lot of these, Curt. Even Ron Paul would say, you know what, a lot of these things are good things.
Yeah, good point.
And it's sad we don't have more good news for you, but we can keep pushing for it. And we can make good news if we work hard. Just imagine if we all backed President Trump. Just imagine if 100 million Americans said, Congress, we demand you back Trump and get tax cuts done before the midterms. If we really got that done, it would change the game before midterms, Curt. It really would.
Well, that's right. And one of my sources for good news is always the folks there at the Defending of the Republic, our buddy Sidney Powell, and
Amen.
what they call Good News Friday. You can find so much good news there from him. And that lady is what I'd call a modern day Joan of Arc, good lady. And she's been proven correct once again, huh?
Yes, that's for sure. Anyway, also one other quick story at the end. CDC has linked the Salmonella outbreak in 27 states. Sadly, Curt, one of my favorite foods, jalapeños. Yeah, health officials said Wednesday that 345 people have been sickened and 36 hospitalized because they're eating jalapeños. And so that's kind of a sad tale. And hopefully they'll get a handle on that quickly and get that resolved because, man, that's bad news, buddy.
I'm always wondering how they figure that out, Sam.
Oh, Curt, don't you ask those kind of questions. They got this.
I mean, it must be the same guy who counts how many trees get cut down in the Amazon rainforest every day. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, buddy. He's bean counting for sure.
No,
so I don't know. I just know they say it's in 27 states. I think it's just reported, and which means it's really underreported big time compared to what it is too and stuff. And all I know is this: that if we're not careful, though, we get this idea that hey, everything is tainted and you can't eat anything. Don't get paranoid and think there's a boogeyman behind you every day because there's just not, Curt. There's things that happen. The problem is we magnify it and make everything news, and that's the problem.
You probably ought to get a Twinkie so you're safe, Sam.
No, thanks. I'm good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Sam and Curt breaking down the news the networks refuse to use just for you. Spread the word, share the love, tell everybody about Liberty Roundtable Live, would you please? And also tell them about localhoneyman.com because you can get incredible, excellent honey that's good for your health and it's not tainted. It's good, clean, tastes phenomenal. Try it out. Localhoneyman.com. Freewatercoinco.com too, one of our other sponsors. Thank them for their work. They're all about honest money, and so are we. I'm Sam Bushman, LibertyRoundtable.com. God save our constitutional republic.